Hi, I'm actually drawing this time. It's about time I actually drew. More specifically, I'm designing my Sona. Well, at least giving them color. She kind of already has a design. I mean, you've seen it. I'm right here. Anyway, yeah, I'm designing my Sona and I'm going to talk a little bit about the design process and maybe some tips for you as well. You may have already noticed me tracing this traditional artwork. Don't worry, it's mine. I just need to tweak a little bit, and this is actually how I've been doing my sketches for a while. I used to sketch digitally, but when I got a drawing tablet, I started sketching traditionally. Not sure why, but it works, so why not? But as far as the actual design goes, how did I come up with it? Well, it kind of just popped into my head. Sorry, not much advice there. It's just how I make designs. They just show up in my brain randomly. Okay, well, maybe it was slightly more involving. The base concept came to my mind. I don't really remember what the base concept was, but I have these earlier design drafts. I think it must have basically been gray skin, frills, starry shirt, short fluffy hair, which at the time was me wanting shorter hair, but I got a haircut now, and I have shorter hair. But anyway, I drew that here, made some tweaks, and here we are. I didn't originally have a plan for the tail, but I love what I came up with. Not sure what it is exactly, but it looks cool. At one point, they actually had a scorpion tail, but that was quickly scrapped. She also had a necklace, but I didn't really like it. But I would love to give them a necklace, as I usually am wearing one. This one to be specific. But maybe I'll get to that at some point. But generally the design came quickly, even the color, but I hadn't actually put any color on them until now. I also want to say that this character is completely representative of me. Like, they literally are me. They have no lore whatsoever. Yeah, I guess it could change. But that doesn't really mean the same for you. Give your Sonas a bunch of lore. Nobody really cares. My old Sona had lore. The character that I recently had that I thought might be my Sona had lore. Not a whole lot, but it was still there. Do whatever you want. Oh, and, I don't know if this is actually, lore relevant, but they do change their hair color. It's dyed hair, so she can change the color. I don't know if that's really lore, because I want to dye my hair and, dye it kind of frequently and change the colors up sometimes, so I don't know if that's lore, because it's not something I do yet, but it's something that I want to do, but they do it. I struggled a lot trying to find a Sona that really felt like me. I wanted this to represent me, so it had to be perfect, but it really doesn't. Personally, I wanted someone who could represent me online, so I wanted it to fit. But lots of people have multiple Sonas of many different kinds too. I guess what I'm trying to say is there is no correct way to make a Sona. It can be whatever you want, and you absolutely don't have to listen to me, ever. Another thing I want to say is making a Sona can be a fun way to kind of disconnect yourself from, anything. I don't like my recorded voice when I make videos, but when I have a silly little guy on the screen, it helps me disassociate the voice from myself. That's not me talking. There's someone else on screen. My Sona is talking. And that's not the only thing, but it's an example. Something else can be gender dysphoria. I personally don't really struggle with this very much, but I know a lot of people do, and having a Sona can definitely help disconnect from that. My Sona is intentionally androgynous, even though I don't get much dysphoria. So, what are some tips for you to design a Sona? Yeah, I'm actually not sure. I'm not a professional, but I will try my best to give advice. So this character just came to me, and I didn't even intend for them to be a Sona at first. They were just there. But when I did realize that maybe this could potentially be a Sona, I started thinking about things that I like the shirt. I have a very similar shirt, but instead of stars, it's mushrooms. And I love that shirt so much. I also love space vibes. And I saw a fabric at Hobby Lobby that looked like this. And I was like, it would be cool if I could have a shirt like a mushroom shirt, but with that fabric. So I gave it to my Sona. I'm kind of waiting to see if I can make that shirt exist in reality. I can't sew yet, but I want to learn to sew. I'll keep you updated on that if it ever happens. I also wanted short fluffy hair, as I mentioned earlier, so I gave her that. As well as dyeing it like I want to. I haven't gotten around to that yet, though. The base color is gray because, well, I like gray. It's literally in my name. But anyway, it's also just a nice neutral color. But I also feel I overuse it in designs. I mean, look at all this gray. And it's all dark gray, too. But just gray is too boring. So let's get my favorite color, purple. In weird blobby things, because why not? And these can change color, so they're not always purple. And she has a piercing in her frill, because I like wearing earrings. But they don't have any ears, so I just put it on her frill. I should figure out a more creative earring, but not now. I'm too lazy. You'll have to deal with this basic one for now. So really, it's just finding what you like and putting that into a design. Easier said than done, though. I know from experience, I've been wanting a Sona for so long, but I never came up with a design that stuck. So now I have a few extra characters, but I still love them. You can try using mood boards. They aren't really my thing. I need to practice using them. My ultimate way of designing a character is that they literally just poof into existence. A little fuzzy, though, so I have to fill in some details. That's why I can't use mood boards, because it feels kind of restricting. Like, oh, it has to be this thing for me, though. So, like, if mood boards work for you, that's great. But for me, personally, they just don't work because characters just pop into my head. That's just how it works. I've designed characters based off of mood boards before, and they don't turn out that bad. But usually it just doesn't work for me. And that's about it for the personal things that affected the design. The blue is kind of random. It's not like my favorite color or anything. I just felt there needed to be some contrast. But does the color really matter? Because for some reason I thought it would be a great idea if the purple splotches could change color and their skin can be lighter or darker. Basically just grayscale. So, very fluid. I'm not really sure what I want to name them. Gray would be good, I guess, because that's my name. Not really, but you know. However, I don't really know how to feel about it. It just doesn't really feel right. So if you have any name suggestions, leave a comment. It's not super urgent, but it would be nice to call them something other than My Sona. Obviously, she's bi, MB, and ace, just like me. And I accidentally made this on a smaller canvas, so the quality isn't really what I want it to be. It's fine, though. Honestly, I will probably make changes to the design a few times. I kind of just make some random decisions and slap some colors on, then tweak the design later. So I guess we'll see. I actually did a lot more tweaking on this design than I usually do. Usually I just do stuff and then hate it later and fix it then. But I actually changed stuff up to make it what I mostly like, I think. I was also having difficulties coloring the hair. I couldn't decide whether I wanted it to be purple or teal. The eyes were also slightly difficult, but not too bad. It just seemed like there was way too much purple, which, like, can there really be too much purple? Okay, fine. I guess there can be. But that was what I was having difficulties with. I also didn't use any purples that I already used, and that may have been my downfall, or what saved me. I don't know. I was trying to incorporate more of the same color, like repeating colors instead of everything being a different color. I like that in designs. It makes them cohesive. I think I struggle with adding too many colors to my designs, like, everything has to be a different color, but I don't necessarily think that it's bad. It's all preferences, and it can definitely be executed well. I'm not sure if I succeeded in my task. The teal is the only repeating color. Oh, except the white outlining and the stars. They're the same color, and it's not actually white. It's just really light gray. And I tried tweaking the hair again. I think I've settled on something, but again, doesn't really matter because the color is fluid. I was trying to see if I could fade the blue to make it less harsh, but it didn't really work. I think it's fine, though. Just tweaking some stuff. I'm not sure if it's exactly what I want, but I still am pretty happy with it. I'm glad I finally got around to doing this. I was trying to get a good sketch for so long, and even when I had one, it was still a bit before I'm making it digital. Now that she has a ref, I just need to make colored version of these things, whatever they're called. Or not. I kind of like the vibe of the paper cutout. What do you think? I definitely need to make more expressions either way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more shenanigans. So this is the end product. I finally decided on a name, Eerie, and that's really it. Thanks for watching.